Hey guys, and welcome back to Garden of Kaylin.
Where plants run free with jokes and clumsiness, let's make it green and wild in the Garden of Kaylin.
Hey you guys, I get compliments all the time about how beautiful and healthy and lush my plants look. And while I appreciate the compliments, I really do, I find myself having to correct people all the time. No. I have unalived so many plants. I am a serial unaliver. And obviously I don't mean to unalive them. I'm just it's how I learn, oh, that's what not to do now. And here's how we're gonna move going forward. So yeah, I'm gonna show you guys, Anyway, before we get started, hi, I'm Kayla and welcome back. If you're new here, welcome, and be sure to subscribe if you wanna keep your plants alive. If plants are your vibe. Okay, so this first plant on my wish list for so long, obsessed over it, finally got it, and it was already on the struggle bus when it arrived here, but I was doing really well with it. This is my Aglaonema Manila Pride, and this is what's left of it. This one leaf, I do have one on the way, but I don't know what I was doing wrong with this. I just know that I struggled with it tremendously, and I had it in my cabinet and everything. So consistent light, consistent humidity, consistency all around, but it just wouldn't stop yellowing and losing leaves. And so I took it out of the pot that it was in. Hold on. Yes, Knox. So I took it out of the out of the pot that it was in and repotted it. And I realized there was a lot of root rot. It just wasn't happy in that mix. And so it seems to be doing okay. This is just one of those plants that I absolutely love. It's variegated. It has these gorgeous leaves. This is not at all what it should look like. And I'm just really disappointed in myself, but I'm understanding now what it likes and doesn't like. I was kind of treating it like my other Aglaonemas, which is very minimal care. They don't like to be fussed over too much. But this one was just a totally different story. It wanted to be fussed over, but only in certain ways. I was maybe overwatering it. I really don't know where the root rot came from, but I just know that the nursery pot that I had it in was in a decorative pot, kind of like this, but there was water sitting in it. So maybe I was watering, I don't know. I did something wrong. Yeah, so once I got it together, I was just kind of okay, everything's great now. And then it just still kept losing leaves. So I'm okay, you know what? I'm taking you out the cabinet. I'm bringing you down to the bedroom where I can keep an eye on you. I checked for pests. I checked for everything. I just don't really know what the problem was. But when looking it up, I did see that a lot of people struggle with this plant. A lot of people keep them in, constant domes or something where it's not in the open air and the ambient air. But I'm not doing that. Either you learn how to get it together with the rest of your siblings, or I'll put you in a dome because I'm not gonna let you die. Because I was way too pressed for this. So this is where we are. I do see new growth. So we're getting somewhere. For the potential that this plant holds, this is not okay. This is not acceptable. And I'm just really annoyed with myself for not, I don't know. It would be so big by now. I've had it for over a year and I had so many leaves on it. So it is what it is. We are where we are and I'm just leaving it alone for now, but we do have new growth. So I guess it's okay with where it's at. So this will be a surprise to absolutely no one, but I'm struggling with an Anthurium. Imagine that. So this is my Anthurium Maglux and it looks oh my goodness, I have this big, beautiful leaf, almost perfect. I've got another one coming in. However, this plant used to have at least 6 leaves on it. And just out of nowhere, it stopped. It stopped growing. And then it rapidly started losing all of its leaves. They were yellow seemingly overnight. And then they just started falling off. So then recently I put this little cuff on here. You see that? With duct tape on it. So, and I stuffed that with sphagnum moss and soil, and that seemed to help. But right before I got this leaf, I had another leaf just like it, looked just like it. And well, of course, it's the same plant. But anyway, it was hardening off. It was so beautiful, similar to this one. And then one day I just came here, it was just dead. just the one leaf. And then it pushed out an inflow, which I cut off. I was like, no, just give me the leaves, give me the leaves. That's it right now. And it's since pushed this one out. So I don't have like super high hopes for it. I am watching it very closely. I mean, I'm just confused because I checked the roots and everything and they were like thick and hardy and like healthy. So I don't know. It's almost like every time I get a new leaf, a little troll is coming in here and like pouring something in the plant. And it's pushed back. I pushed it back away from the light because the leaves were looking a little bit like just a tiny bit sun scorched. So I was like, maybe they're getting too much light. I don't know. So, I mean, they had been doing great under those same conditions before. It just happened out of nowhere and it's so random and it's just troublesome to me now because to this day, I don't know what happened. And with me not knowing what happened, I'm like, well, what if whatever happened before happens again? And I'm just like obsessing over it. So far, so good. This is about the size the last leaf was when, you know, that little incident went down. So once it gets a little bit bigger than that, I'll be like, okay, maybe we're in the clear. But so far it looks okay. I'm just like, I really struggle with the idea that like I didn't figure out what the problem was. You know, I'm just kind of bracing myself for impact. And I don't like living like that. I don't want to live in fear. So I'm just like, you know what? It is what it is. I'm just going to let it do what it does. So far it's doing great. So we'll see. Now this one I'm actually surprised that I'm struggling with. This is my Syngonium Godzilla. And usually Syngoniums, most of the time, I'm really good with. But there are a few every once in a while where I'm like, what? And this is just one of those. So what's happening is I am constantly getting these yellow leaves and it's happening more and more often actually. I left this on just so I can show it to you guys. So I'm just taking them off and like, don't get me wrong, they just grow right back as Syngoniums do, but they're not stopping. The yellowing does not stop. It seems like every time I water it, I get some kind of yellowing. So I go out of my way to wait till it completely dries, water it, and then let it sit for a long time before I put it back. I've even got it in like my little naked root planter. And before I even put it back in this little reservoir, I'm like, okay, I let it drain out because I was just like pouring it in this hole and, you know, essentially bottom watering it. So it's like, maybe that's what it is. Nope, it wasn't that. Because even when I tried the other way, I'm still getting yellowing. And another problem that I'm having is I know that the Syngonium Godzilla is like weird. It's supposed to be crinkly and like it's really cool. That's one of the features that I loved about it. That's why I got it. But the leaves aren't getting like any bigger. And when I look at pictures online, they just seem like maybe twice this size. So I'm thinking like, okay, maybe I'll put it in more light. But I put it in more light and I get even more browning. So I don't understand why this Syngonium hates me. I love it so much. I love how crazy it looks and I'm not understanding why. Like I've tried to move it 1,000 times. I'm getting like 3 and 4 yellow leaves immediately after watering it every time. So I checked the roots and I'm like, no, the roots are happy. Well, you can't see them here, but I was like, okay, the roots are happy. It's just a mystery to me. I really don't know. I'm trying to guess. I don't even have a guess. Maybe one of you guys does, but I'm so happy with how this plant is supposed to look that I'm like willing to keep trying, but it's only a matter of time before I'm like, okay, you hate me. And I just give up. It was super bushy before. It's pretty hardy now. Like it's pretty full now, but before it was like just leaves all over the place. I've just lost so many of them that I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but it is growing. It grows really quickly, actually. I just wanted to stop losing leaves. Look, is this one on the way out? I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I really don't. You guys, this next plant has my heart. It really does, but it just does not love me back. This is my Calathea zebrina, and I have started it over numerous times. You hear me? Numerous times, like at least 3. I have completely chopped it back and started it all over, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I have it in my cabinet. It's like 78, 79 in there all the time. I even put it in this little container, this ceramic container with no drainage holes so that it would like retain the moisture a little bit better. Even then, like even still, it's growing now, but I just started it over like 2-3 months ago. So I don't know, it reaches a certain point and then I'll start getting those browning tips. Does this one? no, that one's okay. It starts getting these browning tips, and then I'm like, nope, time to start all over. I don't know, it's the weirdest thing, but I'm so in love with how this plant looks mature and bushy that I refuse to give up on it. Like, I'm just anyone, you know, tell me. I really do think it's a humidity thing. I'm thinking maybe a bigger pot so that it just doesn't dry out at all. Cause I have it in this little pot. So I'm like, maybe I'll put it in a bigger pot than this. You know, kind of how I do my Anthurium sometimes when they're always looking sad. But yeah, this is a plant that I struggle with a lot, very often. And I've been struggling with it for a while, ever since I had it, actually. And I've had this plant 4-5 years almost. And this is what I have to show for that. At one point I did have it really healthy, but not for long. And it was like really healthy when I first brought it home. I was like, okay, we're doing good. No, we're not doing good. So I really think that this is one of those plants that cannot dry out at all. But then it also does not want to sit in water. And that is why I'm like, what do you want? Like, obviously I don't want to keep it in water, but like, I have plants that don't like to dry out, so I let them like dry out halfway, but this one's like, no, I can only dry out 28.7%. And it's like, by the time I catch it, I'm like, oh shoot, is it too late? And most of the time it is too late. So I wish I had like some kind of alarm system on it that told me like, okay. And then on top of that, when the temperature changes in my house, or like if I leave the grow light on overnight on accident, like that'll do it. It's just that, like, I really have to stay right over it, like right on top of it. And I have a hard time with that when I have 400 plants here. I mean, I can put it under a dome or something, but I will say that when this does start growing, it starts growing really fast. So you see, I have like that new leaf coming in, and then I have a bunch of different growth points down here, like right there. You see that one? I even have one coming out of this little spot. So they grow fast and they start like getting really tall really quickly. So there's not, like, I can't put it under like a little dome. It has to be in a cabinet. Or maybe I'm thinking start it over again, or like just leave it out here and let it get used to the ambient humidity. But I can tell you that October is not the time to be experimenting with plants when it's about to get cold. So I'm like, come on, please just do right. So I've been doing better with it, hence, you know, the few leaves that I have on it now. It's only a matter of time, like one weekend, if I forget to water it, or, you know, I skip a watering day or something like that, it's done, you know? So I'm really frustrated. I'm really frustrated, but I don't want to get rid of this plant. I am very dedicated to like getting it back to where it was before. So I don't know, I think it's a very common plant, but I know that a lot of people struggle with it, and I'm no exception. I struggle with a lot of plants, y'all. I can make like several videos just showing you plants that I'm struggling with, and like they would be hours long. So hopefully I'll get the hang of this and, you know, stay on top of it. I know what the problem is. I just don't know like the proper solution for it without like, that's like realistic for me. You know, sometimes I order a plant online, it gets here, and once it gets here, it's doing so well for so long. And I'm like, we're going to be besties. Like, we're going to get on so well. And then like a year later, I'm like, what? You're acting funny now. What's going on? And that is what happened with my Philodendron lupinum, which, by the way, you guys, I got so big and so full. It was at the top of the pole. The leaves were huge. And so because it was like outgrowing the cabinet space, I decided to chop it down a little bit just so I could keep it in there. And that's when it just took a massive hit. Like, there's always something wrong. It always pushes out just these baby, itty bitty baby leaves. And you guys, it's so disappointing because the lupinum is gorgeous. Oh my gosh, like a mature lupinum, absolutely gorgeous. And so I just was like chasing the dragon, trying to get it back to the spot that I had it in before, trying to get it back to that like optimal health. And I have been trying for about 2 years now to get it back together. I have another one upstairs I've propagated, and it's grown a lot, but it's just grown a bunch of tiny little leaves like this. What is going on? What am I doing wrong? I didn't check if it was root bound. Maybe, but it was doing that before. It was doing this before it, you know, those roots were coming out the pot like this. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't repotted it. That's the only thing I haven't done actually. So maybe that is what it needs, a nice little repot, but I'm just like, there's no way it needs to be repotted. Like, I just couldn't wrap my mind around that because I'm like, I just chopped it up. It's not even that big. I know it's, you know, dependent on the root system, but what in the world? Like, look how pretty that is, but they get super dark and they're like red. The leaves are like red underneath. I don't know if you can kind of see some of that there. So they are red underneath, and the leaves they kind of get like elongated, and there's like these really deep lobes. It really is gorgeous. I'm just fighting, trying to get back to where I had it before. It was so full. So many, like, I'm just regretting ever messing with it. I should have just left it alone. It's in the same cabinet. It's literally in the same spot in the cabinet. It seems to dry out a little more often. You know what? This needs to be repotted. This needs to be repotted. Now that I'm thinking about it, like, duh. Oh my gosh, I needed to make this video because I'm just like talking myself out of the problems sometimes. But look how pretty this is. It's gonna be so perfect when I finally get it together, but that still doesn't like really explain to me the small leaves, these wonky leaves like keep coming in on it. I need to switch this moss pole, like, from this little homemade whatever I have, or at least do something to keep it moist. But I don't know, you guys. I am obsessed with this lupinum. Yeah, which is why I still have it. So I am still working on this. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. I don't think this is really gonna shock anyone, but lately this Cercestis mirabilis has been giving me a run for my money, okay? So first of all, there's only 3 leaves on it now. I had 7 on here, and I got one from my grandma. She had like a smaller one, and I just put it in with my pot. And that's when things kind of took a hit. Like, I think with me messing with the roots and like repotting it just was like, nah. And the leaves like very quickly died on it. And if you know anything about this, you know that these grow incredibly slowly. I've never had problems with it before, not really. I've had like some browning tips on it. You can see like right there. So I've had that before, of course, but to lose leaves, and this one is starting to yellow too. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but look at the difference in the colors. Oh my gosh, so beautiful, so beautiful. So it's just hanging on by the hairs of its chinny chin chin right now. I really couldn't tell you what the issue was. I had it in decent soil, I thought. I added a little bit of sphagnum moss to it, and that seemed to temporarily help, but it's still just not looking how it used to look. And I can't tell for real if it's working yet, just because these grow so slowly. So it's very, very common, very normal for me to not have a leaf on here for like 4 or 5 months. Like, that's totally average, which is fine because I've said it on here before. Like, the more it matures, the more it starts to lose this beautiful color on here. So I don't want it to get big too fast, but I just need some kind of affirmation, like some kind of confirmation that says, hey, I'm better. I'm okay. Like, we're cool again. I really don't know. This one's up in the air right now. It's such a gorgeous plant. Whenever I see someone with this plant, like, they're so beautiful. And obviously that's what I'm gonna see if I'm looking it up on social media, which is something y'all have to be careful with. Like, stop comparing. Don't even compare your plants to mine, because y'all don't see me at 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm like watering my plants and being a psychopath and like having a manic hour of like plant care because I spotted spider mites on something. Don't recommend that. Very unhealthy. Don't do that. But I'm just saying, I compare my plants to other people's too, and I'm like, well, if they can get theirs that full, why can't I? You know what I mean? Everybody does it. I don't care who doesn't admit it. So I'm just really working on trying to stop comparing, number one, and just trying my very best. And with this, I'm definitely trying my best. I just don't know what else to really do, honestly. I'm scared to try to propagate it. I'm scared to, cut it back or anything. I'm scared to do anything besides repot it because I don't know how this behaves in, when it comes to propagation and stuff, and it grows way too slowly for me to, I could, but I'm just not willing to because I love this plant so much. And now grandma's plant is in here too, so I'm really not fooling with it. So hopefully things are good to go. I did fertilize it. Definitely fertilized it with slow release fertilizer, and I'm hoping that, like, please please be the answer to everything. It just needed like a little bit of extra nutrients. I know a lot of times with a lot of my plants, they are like either root bound or it's time to repot them. Like they've taken all the nutrients out the soil that they can get, and it's time. And those are things that I very often overlook. Like I'm like, is it too much water, too little water, or pests? And other things matter, like air circulation, the minerals in your water. It's a lot. There's like a whole science behind it. But I try not to like overcomplicate things. I'm like, okay, well, I'll try bottled water next time, or, filter water, whatever. So I just said a lot to say, I'm trying not to kill this plant. So in my house right now, I currently have about 4 of these next plant I'm about to show you, and all of them are doing horrible. But this was grandma's, so this is the one that matters. This is my variegated monstera adansonii obliqua Peru. It's a lot of words. Every variegated adansonii I have looks bad. All the time, there's always something wrong with them. And so this one in particular, on the variegated portions, on the variegated leaves, and I get some all variegated leaves. And if you know about the variegation on a lot of these monsteras, if you get an all variegated leaf, you might as well just, I mean, I'm not gonna say you might as well cut it off, but it's going. At some point, I mean, aren't we all? But at some point, it's gonna look bad. It's gonna get brown. And this one just always has some sort of something going on. Like that right there looks like something maybe fungal, but then I have like a constant yellowing of leaves and I don't really know what it wants. Then I get like all white leaves. It's just a lot going on all the time. This is honestly the best it's ever looked. I have a leaf right there that needs to come off. Like there's always something wrong with it and it's so frustrating. So I've repotted it numerous times and it still is like, nah, still not enough. So I recently put it on my shelf in front of a grow light, but I have the grow light like slightly dimmed in hopes that that would maybe calm things down. And it seems to have worked so far, but I can't figure out the variegated, like I have a hard time with variegated monsteras, it seems. They just don't like to be touched or bothered at all, by me at least. Like they have a thing against me personally, I guess, because I see other people's and, I see other people talking, there I am comparing again. But I'm just saying, I see other people talking about them and they're like, oh, well, I do this, I do that, and it works. And I try that very same thing and it does not work. And so I'm not really sure, like I know that this looks like, what's wrong with it? But you didn't see it last week. Like I had to take some scissors to it. I was like, you're gone, you're definitely gone. You know what I mean? So I really do love how this plant looks. I really do. I think it is so cool, but I can't, is this a mint maybe? I don't know. It wasn't, I got it from grandma. It wasn't labeled. So I had to like just use eyesight to ID it. But is this maybe a mint? No, maybe, I don't know actually. Cause the variegation seems to be like, kind of marbled instead of, you see that? I don't know. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. But anyway, so I have it in this little pot right here and I need to water it now, but I just take it to my shower and water it and let it sit and let it drain. I always let my plants drain out. But my next step for this is going to be semi-hydro because it doesn't like to dry out completely, or at least not for long, but it also doesn't want to like be wet. I don't know. I think his semi-hydro might be the way to go, but I can tell you for sure that the moment I repot this, the fact that I'm even discussing potting it is making this plant die slowly in my hands. I know the second I touch the root system on this, it's done. And I'm gonna have to start all over. Like this was just a few leaves when I got it because it had been sitting outside for a while and it was just struggled. It was just struggling. So when I got it, it was a new project for me and it's looking great now. I just can't figure out how to get it to thrive and to grow without like losing every other leaf every time I water it. And I feel like I could get it a whole lot bigger than this and like very impressive in size if I could just figure that out. I also fertilized this one. I fertilized everything, just so y'all know. So I really don't know. I really don't know, but it's really important to me because, like I said, it belonged to grandma, and I am very hell-bent on keeping all the plants that I got from her, which is a lot, I'm really pressed to keep all her plants alive. I really have been working on this as hard as I can, and it looks okay for now, but it also needs to be watered. So that means, like, every time I water it, I'm like, all right, which one of y'all is going? Which one will it be today? And it's weird because I've got, like, it seems to be growing great. Like, look at those aerial roots coming in. I mean, I feel like I could propagate that little piece right there, but I'm scared to cut it off. I don't know. Does anyone else struggle with the adansonii? I have another one. I'll show it to you. Hold on. So this isn't the obliqua, but do you see what I mean? Like, all my adansonii do this every single time I water them. That one is on its way out. Look at these. This is what happens when I just like leave the all white leaf. This is what goes on. And you see the ones at the top, like, they seem okay. They seem happy. But every single time I water, all the leaves at the bottom are like, they're trying to take themselves out. So I just don't understand what the formula is and what I'm doing wrong with these. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I struggle with this plant. And I'm like, me too, girl. It's only the variegated one. Like, the regular monsteras, all green, perfect, no problems. The adansonii, I've got an endomint upstairs, struggling. This much, everyone that I've gotten has struggled. So I'm starting to think it's not a me problem and it's a them problem. It wasn't even that long ago before I made a video talking about how easy and how beautiful my Philodendron gigas was. And then it took a massive hit after I dropped it. And I was like, okay, it's a gigas, it'll come back, except for it didn't. So it struggled big time after that, you guys. Look how beautiful this is. So velvety. It struggled big time after that. And then I decided to just like do a chop and prop, and I did that. And these leaves look great. This was kind of like the top part, but these pieces, I cannot figure out, like, what is the problem? What is the issue? And this was a plant that I used to literally take out the pot, propagate, and like, I didn't even propagate them. I would just cut it and like stick it right back down in the soil, and it would grow beautifully. So I don't know what happened here to where it just decided to stop doing that. But I will say, originally, I had this plant in stratum, and now I've got it in soil. So I'm thinking the stratum was like the lifeline for this plant, and now not so much. So now I'm like, okay, you don't like soil. See, I thought you were easy. You tricked me, but you don't like soil. I'm about to put you back in stratum. And I'm thinking, like, look at this. It tried to unfurl, and then it just didn't. Same thing with these up here. Like, what is really the problem here? Look at this one. This one has a gaping hole in it. So what gives? I hate when leaves come in like wonky. I cannot stand it. I would rather you just like not come in at all if this is how you're gonna grow, because what am I supposed to do with this? Once this happens, like, it's not straightening up. What am I gonna do? So to look at it. So I'm definitely loving these parts, and I'm looking forward to what those are gonna do. And that's growing, and these leaves are coming in just fine. So I'm like so confused as to why the smaller ones are not. And I keep this one in a cabinet, so it's pretty humid in there. Usually when I see a leaf kind of wonky looking and unraveling crazy, I'm thinking, okay, you don't have enough humidity. For this one, that's not the case. And previously, I didn't need humidity for this plant. So something about what I did definitely screwed it up, and I can't quite figure out what. It's definitely not root bound, as you can see. So I really can't call it. I can't put my finger on it. I just know I want to get it back to where it was, and I will not stop until it gets there. Another wish list plant that went down the drain almost immediately is my Anthurium lutheri that has never had more than one leaf on it. And also, every time there's one leaf on it, it looks like this. So the first thing I did was I put it in stratum, and typically, I can't go wrong with stratum, but here I still think it's like an environmental thing because I have great roots coming in on it, but like this is what's happening to every leaf, and then eventually it just shrivels up and dies completely. One, it would help if I kept the reservoir filled with water like I'm supposed to. So I'm thinking about relocating this so that it's not like in the back where I can't see it and it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. So that would be one of the fixes. And then another thing is I feel like it probably needs more humidity, but it's just that in my cabinet, I fear that it's gonna get too much light. I don't know. I guess it would be okay. Look at that new leaf coming in. I guess it would be okay, but this plant has been like a perpetual pain in my you-know-what, and I don't understand why I can't get it together with this. I don't get it. I have propagated it. I took that propagated piece and I put it in there, and that's what you see here growing. But the original piece seemed to have like died off. I don't know if you can't see it in there. Hold on. So you see, that's the original piece that I cut, and that kind of died off, and then I think it's dead. Honestly, like, yeah, that's done. That's definitely done. That looks horrendous. Glad I picked it up today, but yeah, this is a plant that I have in the back. So I'm just like thinking, I'm not paying enough attention to it. I'm not showing it enough attention and watering it enough. And like, it's really my fault that this plant is struggling. But to be fair, as soon as I got it, it struggled and like I had to completely start it over. But I love this. The lutheri, you guys, have you seen it? Oh my gosh, like I gotta get it right. And maybe this next leaf is a good sign because I've never had more than one leaf on it. So I'm thinking that maybe I got it together now. It's also very slow, so that's another problem. Obviously, there's not much to look at right now. I'm gonna put it in my cabinet. I think I'm gonna just put it in my cabinet, and that way I can keep an eye on it. But everyone that mentions this plant to me says they also struggle with it. So misery loves company. I'm so glad I'm not the only psychopath who can't, stop killing this plant. And I don't know, you guys, maybe I will get it together. I want at least like 5 leaves on here. I don't feel like I'm asking for a lot. So this is very likely a me problem and something that I'm doing wrong, or some things that I'm doing wrong as far as like the environment surrounding it. A lot of my anthuriums are like very dramatic about humidity, especially when I start turning the heat on. So if I'm gonna get a hold on this, I need to do it now before I do have to turn my heat on, which won't be long, won't be far from now. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that the cabinet life is gonna be the way to go with this. I'm just tired of looking at it like this. Very rarely do I struggle with hybrid plants, but this Philodendron majestic is definitely taking me out. So number one, I just would like to point out how gorgeous this leaf is. It almost looks like army print, and it's really hard to tell right now, I feel like, which is why it was so important for me to get like these massive leaves on it, right? So that would pop out more so you could see that more. But lately it's not feeling me. It's not wanting to do much. I tried propagating it and it rooted very nicely, very quickly, but this is what the propagation is doing now. So what? Like, what is this? It's like something is taking bites out of my leaves. When I stay on top of everything, I'm okay with the small leaves. I understand that's what happens when you start it over, but I'm just not okay with my leaves coming out looking so crazy. I mean, you see some yellowing. It just the plant doesn't look good at all. And I feel like I have, decent soil in it. I think I have slow release fertilizer in this one too. It's just not happy with me. And it really surprises me. The plants that are doing this kind of surprised me because they're plants that previously grew so beautifully. So I'm not sure what it is. I'm really not, but I'm not happy. I'm not happy with it at all. I didn't know what to expect with this johnstonii, but I didn't expect this. It went from leaves this size, like this was the size of the plant when I got it, and then just very quickly sized up to this and only like 2 or 3 leaves. And so it just like sprung out of nowhere. It kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't aware that it had like these crazy spikes. I had a lot to learn about this plant. This plant grew faster than my knowledge of it could grow. And so now I'm just like kind of starting to catch up. but it's already like in a lot of spots, the damage has already been done. I have lost so many leaves. Like it's very bare. I've lost like 4 leaves on this. But even now, like I have spider mite damage. I don't know if you can see it just in there. Like there's lots of spider mite damage. I have like browning tips. I have a lot of crispy tips. Like there's a lot wrong with this plant, even though it might not look so bad like from a distance. It's just that I can't seem to like grasp the care for it faster than, you know, the destruction is happening. And every time I go to water it, it's too late. So the plant does not want to be dry at all. It doesn't like to dry out. And that was also a learning curve because, oh my gosh, it's so pretty though. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Like it's just red running through the veins. I mean, it's a truly gorgeous plant. But what was I saying? Oh, so I had this in the cabinet at first, and it was growing in the cabinet beautifully. It's when I removed it from the cabinet and it, you know, spiked up in growth, and now it's like still trying to, I don't know if it's still trying to adjust, or I'm still adjusting to the fact that I have to like water it more often now. And that is quite an adjustment because it does not want to be dry at all, but it also does not want to sit in water. So this is another one of those. And it is humidity loving. So I have it grouped together with a lot of plants, and I feel like that's the only reason it's still alive. I don't keep my humidifier on in the summertime. And I kind of have it pushed back to where it's not getting too much light. So that maybe is helping a little bit. There's definitely some kind of pest on here right now. I can tell looking at it. So I have to like keep the pest at bay. I have to also like make sure it's not getting too much or too little light. I'm also risking my life every time I go to water it just because of these spikes. So that's a hazard too. I can say as beautiful as this plant is, that I probably would not buy it again. It gets too big too fast. It takes up too much space. It's very susceptible to root rot, to pests. It needs humidity. It's just very high maintenance. And I mean, even though it's worth it enough for me to keep this plant and keep trying to keep it alive and make sure it's doing okay. But it's not enough to where I'm like, I gotta have it and I would repurchase it. It's just been giving me so much grief lately, and I don't feel like it's fair to the plant to buy another one that when I know, you know, that it's going to be losing so many leaves. Maybe it just it's taking some time to get used to being outside of the cabinet, but I've had it out of there for several months now. And so I feel like it should kind of be together. Also, I just repotted it into some like slightly more dense soil. So I'm hoping that helps in keeping the moisture retained in here. But yeah, I am definitely struggling with this right now, but it's so beautiful. Look how perfectly shaped the leaves are. Like, look how deep the lobes are, you guys. It looks like an alien. It is so incredible. And of course, it's going to be a difficult plant when it's this incredible. I think that I'm just trying to give it the same care that I gave it when it was a lot smaller. And that's just not what it needs. So yeah, I have to like reevaluate where I have it and like what I'm doing with it. And that's fine. It's just taking me a little bit longer than I would prefer. So you guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And I feel like just pointing out the plants that I'm struggling with today was very therapeutic. Anyway, those were the plants that I'm struggling with. They're not all of them at all. There are so many more. I could talk about the plants I'm struggling with for hours, but until next time, I'll see you later.